The following program is produced by students of the Brian Lamb School of Communication at Purdue University.
On this edition of Fast Track, we take you to a place in Lafayette where a popular donut franchise has settled into its new home.
And later, we're going to take a look at how some graduate students make the tough decision between whether to pay for food or rent. Fast Track starts now. Thank you for tuning into Fast Track. I'm Trevor Peters. This week's episode is coming to you from the Vision 21 Conference Room atop Beering Hall, otherwise known as the Jedi Council Room.
And I'm Christina Van Zelst. After the Dunkin' Donuts burnt down 20 years ago on Union Street, a new store has opened to bring the donuts and coffee back to Lafayette.
As the soft opening was so successful, a grand opening is still in the future. Christina Van Zelst has the story.
The drive just got a lot shorter for Dunkin' Donut fans as Dunkin' Donuts has returned and opened their first store in Lafayette after a 20-year absence. Opening day brought residents from all over Greater Lafayette together to celebrate its comeback.
Customers were super excited, just ready to have Dunkin' here. A lot of people, traveled in from all the corners of Indiana. Unfortunately, there's not another Dunkin' with about a 120-mile radius. So all the small communities came in here and it just was a lot of fun.
Because we're the only one so far, everybody from Purdue, anybody around Tippecanoe County, even Romney, anybody really in a 30-mile radius. And then when the next 3 stores open, it'll be a lot better to cover all those varieties.
It's no doubt that the need for a Dunkin' Donuts was present as the opening was so successful it almost broke records on the first day, and sales were up 300% than what was originally predicted. The location was also a big reason for this as it's near the mall, a few high schools, and businesses to bring in the crowd.
They actually spent a lot of time with the location. One of the owners actually sat in the McDonald's parking lot for 5 hours with an iPad in one hand and an iPhone in the other, just simply counting cars directionally on 52.
Lafayette is soon to run on Dunkin' as this is the first of 4 stores to open in the Greater Lafayette area, with talk that there might be one coming closer to Purdue's campus. Coffee drinkers and donut lovers are anything less than excited.
I think I was at school and they called my mom and I was like, oh my God, they're opening up a Dunkin' Donuts. We need to go there as soon as it opens.
I was like, oh my gosh, we never had one before. This is cool.
I'm extremely pleased to see Dunkin' Donuts here. It means I don't have to drive to Merrillville or Fort Wayne or Valparaiso anymore to get my Dunkin' Donuts.
I love Dunkin' Donuts. I use their K-Cups every morning, so the fact that I can get it fresh every day now makes a huge difference.
We had Dunkin' Donuts in our area, so I'm very familiar with Dunkin' Donuts. I was very happy to hear that there was one coming to Lafayette.
After a day of lines out the door and a 45-minute wait just to get in the building, customers have returned back even after all of the hype.
We have the customers that come in every day that has been coming in every day since opening, so it's kind of cool to know that customer and be like, oh, I already know what you want.
The new Dunkin' Donuts has 47 employees, and since the first location was so successful, the next store will be ready sooner than originally planned. The next stores are said to be opening in West Lafayette, 2 on the south side, and 1 closer to 65. Reporting for Fast Track, I'm Christina Van Zelst. Let's take a quick look at the current weather conditions from Fast Track's meteorologist, Matt Seedorf.
Good evening, Boilermakers. I hope you're enjoying your Friday as much as I did today because we had a very warm day today. We had a high temperature of 63 degrees here in Lafayette, which is almost 25 degrees above normal for this time of the year. We also had 64 degrees out in Rensselaer, 66 in Champaign, 58 in Warsaw, 59 in Fort Wayne, and 63 degrees in Indianapolis. Our satellite currently shows that we have clear skies now in our area as the precipitation and spotty showers and clouds that we had earlier today have now passed. So we should have clear conditions for much of the evening here today in Lafayette. Our current conditions show that we have 59 degrees here in Lafayette with a dew point of 42 degrees, which gives us a relative humidity of 53%. Our winds are out of the southwest at 17 miles per hour with a gust of 25. We had winds of up to 35 to 40 miles per hour earlier in the day, which made it quite gusty, but the warm weather made up for it. As I said earlier today, we had a high temperature of 63 degrees, and we had a low this morning of 43. The warm temperature should stick in the area for the next couple of days, and I'll have more detail about that later in the show.
choosing between food and rent. That's a choice some graduate students are making. Purdue graduate student stipends rank at the bottom of the Big Ten.
Some, however, are trying to change that. For more of the story, here's Jared Meeks.
At Purdue, graduate students reported making decisions between medical treatment and rent, something graduate students don't feel is new.
It's something it's historically been a fact that graduate students aren't really the best paid.
This has left graduate students struggling to get by.
Graduate students here at Purdue are actually living below the poverty line. Some are close to it. I think engineers get paid a little bit more than other disciplines. But yeah, it's essentially poverty level living.
The difficulties that graduate students face are only strengthened by the addition of children.
When you're at a single student or even a couple, they're still living on the poverty level. They can make do, and then you divide that even more when you have a kid, and when you have 4 kids, it does get really tight really fast.
In the spring of 2015, Purdue graduate student government started receiving anecdotal evidence that Purdue graduates received less pay than graduates at other Big Ten universities. From there, they decided to try and find answers.
I started asking the Office of Institutional Research to start providing data that was comparative from one university to another to see where we actually stood with regards to our salaries. And what I found was that the anecdotal evidence was correct.
The stipends across campus were found to be low, especially in the College of Liberal Arts.
In the liberal arts, we were the absolute lowest in the Big Ten. We were the lowest by about 10 to 15%, $4,000 below the median. We were being paid $13,500. The median through the Big Ten was $18,000, and that included universities like Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, and IU Bloomington.
In the fall of 2015, Liberal Arts Dean David Reingold reviewed all of Purdue graduate student programs along with department heads. They wanted to raise the salaries of Purdue graduate students. Starting next semester, funding will start at $15,000 for each graduate student, along with 5 years of guaranteed funding. Some majors, such as English, will experience a sharp decline in funding lines, while others, such as political science, will experience an increase. Reporting for Fast Track, I'm Jared Meeks.
Being in college and living a healthy lifestyle isn't always the easiest thing to keep up with. It is easy to get caught up in the day-to-day with classes and social life, but it is always important to put your health first.
Reporter Taylor Briscoe has some easy tips for us on how to lead a healthier lifestyle.
Hello, my name is Taylor Briscoe, and today I'll be giving you some basic tips on how to live a healthier life. So we'll jump right into the most important thing and the thing that everyone's curious about. Food versus exercise. Is one more important than the other? The answer is actually yes. If you had to choose one, food is actually way more important. It breaks down to about an 80-20 breakdown. 80% food, 20% exercise is what your body is going to reflect. So the main thing in making simple changes in your life is you want to try to stick to whole foods. So I brought a few snack examples with me today. One are these raw almonds. They're super easy to throw in a Ziploc bag and throw in your backpack or your purse, and super yummy and healthy for you. The other is this little cutie orange. Again, super easy to throw in your bag and a really quick snack that's also nutritious and a healthy food. So the second is exercise. Obviously, even though food is a little more important, exercise is still crucial. So you don't want to just be running on the treadmill for 3 hours or pumping iron in the gym forever. You want to make sure you have a good mix between cardio and strength training. So cardio, you want to try to get about 30 minutes of a power walk or an elliptical, jog every week, 5 times a week. And then as far as strength training, weights aren't always for everyone, but what some people don't know is that resistance training is also just as good. So this simple resistance band, I'll do a little demonstration. You can have this in your bedroom or your living room, and you don't even have to, go to the gym. It's super simple, and you'd be shocked at how good of a workout this does give you. I'll stop now before I get out of breath. So yeah, that's a really handy thing to have. Okay, moving on. Planning out your meals and your workouts and sticking to it. This is huge. So you want to think before on Sunday, what do I want to eat for the week? What is going to set me up for success? So planning out your meals and your workouts, I would suggest investing in a good planner like this one I have here. At the beginning of the week, prepare kind of like the main entrees of my meals. and my workouts. I write them down. So for today, February 17th, I have workout, 20 minutes treadmill, 20 to 30 minutes strength training, and then I have my dinner, peas, rice, and grilled chicken, and that's already all prepared for me. You know, if you don't have those things prepared, it's so easy to order a pizza or go through a drive-through. We've all been there. But if you have those things prepared, it's basically your own little version of fast food. So next is internal health. This is obviously huge, but a lot of people forget about it. You really need to take a moment for yourself during the day to breathe and think about your goals and also what you're thankful for. So I really like to do that at the end of the day. I reflect on what I'm proud of myself for the day and what I'd like to work on and do better in the next day. So let's recap. What you put in your body will always outweigh how hard you work out. It's very important to get both cardio and strength training in your exercise regimen. If you fail to plan, you need to plan to fail. And remember to take time for mental health as well. I hope these tips on how to live a healthier life motivate you and help you reach your goals. Thanks for joining me.
When we come back, we're going to take a look at how international students and teachers compare academic lifestyles in America with their home country.
And later, we're going to take a look at how some Purdue students really do study rocket science. Stay with us.
Chicago-based shadow puppet company Manual Cinema brings to life Lula Del Rey, a story that NewYorkTheater.com called visually stunning and surprisingly touching. Inspired by the music of Hank Williams, Roy Orbison, and Patsy Cline, Lula Del Rey offers a deceptively simple concept that brings hand-spun cinema to life in an unforgettable experience. March 5th at Lafayette Theater. Details at convocations.org. Presented by Purdue Convocations.
It starts with the belief that we can do more. Go beyond our borders, the world, and reach even the moon. We believe that delivering a world-class education and delivering value mean the exact same thing. It's pure gold. After all, where'd you think our colors came from?
Welcome back. According to the International Students and Scholars Enrollment and Statistical Report for Fall 2015, a total of 9,230 students from 125 countries attend Purdue University. Purdue's international student enrollment allows for diversity on campus. However, we wanted to find out experiences of some of our international students to see if they're really integrating with the American students on campus.
It is important for Purdue's American students to be aware of the learning experiences that international students often face and understand their cultural differences. These international students make up a large population of both the undergraduate and graduate Purdue community. Increasing the importance of the issue, here's Kanoi Pereira.
Li Wang Yunwen is the first-year teaching assistant in the Brian Lamb School of Communication, where she is also a graduate student researching health communication. Like many graduate students at Purdue, she had to go through the adjustment of being an undergraduate student to seeking her master's and PhD degrees while researching and teaching. If that was not enough, she also had to adjust to cultural differences that she found to be different than in her former home of Macau.
I actually had some experience being a teacher before when I was in China, but it's not so difficult to deal with the relationship with students, given our cultural tradition that teacher is the one with authority and you will be respected by your students. But like here, I feel like I'm more in a position that I'm equal with my students, and that I really need to convince my students that I'm capable of teaching this class. And especially when I'm teaching COM 114, it's a fundamental speech class. So how can I be a good teacher and teach my students to deliver their speech? So that's a big challenge.
The international student experience is something that Purdue must continue to highlight due to the statistical ranking of Purdue's international student enrollment. Purdue ranks first among U.S. public institutions, second in the Big Ten, and third in international students majoring in STEM disciplines. Kathy is part of one of the largest groups of international students, with China constituting 48% of the total number of Purdue's international students. Although international undergraduate students at Purdue serve as both students and teachers, their experiences traveling far from home are shared by undergraduate international students as well. The International Students and Scholars Statistical Ranking also reports that international students make up 17.7% of the total undergraduate student body. This may not seem like much, but that percentage totals to 5,233 undergrad Purdue students living far from home. Entering an American institution for some can cause a culture shock, or it can serve as a learning experience.
The first thing I really noticed was the school system, because it's so different from home.
Ida Froese, studying communication at Purdue for this academic year from Uppsala University in Sweden, expressed that often undergraduate international students like herself are trying to integrate with American students, but feel that it is difficult to break into their circle.
When I came here, I expected Americans to be more like open-minded and talk to you, but they didn't really do that. They just go to class and then go home. But it was easier to become friends with the international students because they also want to make friends. So yeah, we have the same interest. But the teachers are more personal than back home. They know your name, they want to get to know you because the classes are smaller, so it's easier to have a personal relationship with the teachers.
This learning experience is not one-sided. American professors also learn a great deal from their international students. Bart Collins describes his experiences working with both international undergraduate and graduate students as extremely rewarding.
This is a diverse environment, and that's a value proposition. We learn from interacting with people from all over the place, and that benefits everyone.
They give us group projects, so you have to start to interact with your class friends, and I think that's how I got to know most of the Americans, and now they are like my best friends here.
Reporting for Fast Track, I'm Kanoy Pereira.
Our campus was hit with another snow shower this week, and February is now halfway over, but it doesn't look like spring is getting any closer.
Now let's throw it back over to Matt Cedar for a more extended weather forecast for our area. Matt, what can you tell us?
Well, Christina, we've had some very, very warm conditions throughout much of the area today, and it's going to stay warm into Saturday. Our high temperatures, as I said earlier in the show, was 63 degrees, with 68 in Springfield and 74 in St. Louis. Our current conditions show 59 degrees currently here in Lafayette, with 57 in Kokomo, 59 in Rensselaer, 55 in Warsaw, 55 in Fort Wayne, and 60 degrees in Indianapolis. Our high was 63, which was 5 degrees off of the record high set in 1930 of 68 degrees. Our normal for this time of the year is 39 degrees. To show you how warm it is outside, it is nearly 25 degrees above normal for this time of the year. Our low temperature was 42 degrees, which is 21 degrees above normal for this time of the year, which, if you think about it, it's like 3 degrees above normal. The low temperature was 3 degrees above normal of our high temperature. So it shows you how much warm air is in the area for this weekend. Our record low was -9, set back in 1979. Our current radar shows we had a line of scattered showers, hit and miss showers go past the area earlier today, and they're now currently over Indianapolis, with a line of showers passing through the northern part of the area. As a futurecast shows, we will have those showers push away past the state over the evening hours. And by Saturday morning, we should have clear conditions throughout much of the area, with really, really warm temperatures continuing and persisting. As 7 p.m. comes along, we have clear conditions continuing throughout much of the area with no precipitation in sight without in the area. And in our 7 a.m. our Sunday 7 a.m. forecast shows some showers beginning to move into the southern part of the state. Those should begin to move north throughout much of the day, and we have a slight chance of having a hit or miss shower throughout the day on Sunday. Our low temperatures tonight will be 42 here in Lafayette. We will have 40 in Kokomo, 40 in Rensselaer, 39 in Warsaw, and 39 in Fort Wayne, and a low temperature of 43 in Indianapolis. Our forecast for Saturday will be warm, partly sunny skies and warm temperatures with a high temperature of 61 degrees. Winds will be out of the southwest at 13 to 18 miles per hour. Our forecast for Saturday night will be increasing cloudiness with partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies throughout the evening with a low temperature of 38 degrees. Our winds will be out of the north at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And on Sunday, you can expect partly cloudy skies with a slight chance of a shower or a thunderstorm, and it will be cooler than Saturday with a high temperature of 50 degrees. The winds will be out of the southwest at 13 to 18 miles per hour. The chance of precipitation will be 30%. Our 7-day outlook shows we will have temperatures moderate to normal temperatures throughout much of the week, as we'll have a high of 42 on Monday with partly cloudy skies. And on Tuesday, we should have mostly sunny skies with a high temperature of 44 and a high temperature of 45 on Wednesday with mostly sunny skies as well. And on Thursday, we should have mostly sunny skies as well with a high temperature of 43 degrees. And clouds should move back into the area on Friday with a high temperature of 35, with low temperatures throughout the 20s for much of the week.
Thank you, Matt. People tend to say, well, it can't be that hard, it's not rocket science, but actually here at Purdue, it really is.
Many patents are approved yearly here at Purdue, and some are happening at Zucrow Labs for rocketry. Here's Alita Donnelly with more.
Near the airport, there's a hidden spot that few students at Purdue University know about. It's called Zucrow Labs. This facility is home to the Purdue Jet Propulsion Lab, which is one of the best academic labs in the country in addition to rivaling NASA's. The hybrid rocket project began in 2006 and has currently evolved into a much more complex project. This project is designed around the concept of a hybrid rocket propulsion system, as explained by Brian Smith.
A hybrid rocket motor is kind of the best of both worlds. You get a solid fuel grain, which in our case is low-density polyethylene, and a liquid oxidizer, which is hydrogen peroxide for us. So our liquid oxidizer is pumped onto the solid fuel grain, it burns, and it is a relatively simple system, but we still get the efficiency that we would get from a liquid fuel.
With this propulsion system, it is used for sounding rockets, as Brian explains.
So sounding rockets kind of differ from manned space vehicles in that they're smaller, they're cheaper, but they go up to space, they take an experiment up there and do experiments that you can only do in a space environment.
The rocket that flew in 2008, as shown on the left, is only about 30 pounds in weight. The final weight of the rocket that's on the right, which is projected to launch during the first half of March, will be around 150 pounds. Looking at these two models, you can see that this one's from 2008, and this is actually only the combustion chamber, but the other one is the one that's going out in March, and that's still got another 5 feet on top of it, and with that, that'll double this size for the combustion chamber for the rocket that's going out later this year. Fellow team member Dominic Vitello had an involving role for this project, as he explains.
Last semester I mainly worked on the propulsion team, so a lot of what we were doing was focusing on making sure the nozzle had the desired characteristics to support the engine, and this semester I'm working on the avionics, so that's going to be the parachute needs to deploy at a certain time. We need to be able to locate the rocket after the parachutes have deployed and it's come safely back down to Earth.
The simulated model of the rocket on the stand is very impressive since the rocket alone is 16 feet tall. Reporting for Fast Track, I'm Alita Donnelly.
The Muslim Student Association of Purdue hosted its Islam 101 event this past weekend. The event, located in Rawls Hall, gave a quick lecture about the history of Islam and its core foundings and beliefs.
Afterwards, Purdue students were allowed to ask questions to the lecturer about the Muslim faith. With more on the story, here's Matt Seedorf.
The Muslim Student Association of Purdue, or MSA, held their open lecture, Islam 101, at Ross Hall, where students of all faiths could come and talk about Islam and get a better understanding of the Muslim faith. The event offered a 1-hour lecture about Islam, which covered material on the core beliefs of Islam, the similarities and differences with Christianity, and the common misconceptions about Islam. We spoke with lecturer Newscast and Vice President of the MSA, Fatima Taha, about the event and what they were hoping to get out of it.
It's been really positive. I really appreciate the comments. We have some really good comments, and we made it in the news. So it's good. It's good to get our side of the story as American Muslims out about what our narrative is, about what our faith teaches us and how we believe in it and how we try to implement it. So it's been great.
Well, of course, it's always to spread awareness, and since we're a minority here on campus, we want people to be able to approach us, to be comfortable, to ask questions, and to basically clear any misconceptions that people have about Islam. And we just want to, increase peace on campus and have everyone be comfortable around each other, and just to increase the awareness so people are able to get along and just understand Muslims here on campus.
A number of non-Muslim students of Purdue came to the event, and we stopped to ask them their thoughts.
It definitely shed more of a positive light. Again, I was very ignorant on the subject before I came in. I feel like now I have a moderately decent grasp on the core of Islam.
I just wanted to get some more knowledge of Islam. I have a couple of Muslim friends, and I think there's always an opportunity to learn and get it from the source itself.
Yeah, I was just hoping to learn a little more about the beliefs that Islamic students have on campus, because I'm always open to trying to have conversations about faith and spiritual life with all different kinds of people on campus, and I think it was good to learn more about the background they're coming from, so I could talk more comfortably and more knowledgeably with other students.
This event ended a week of events for the MSA that included Ask a Muslim events held the previous day here on campus. For additional information or more events held by the MSA, you can find them at www.facebook.com/Purdue.MSA. Reporting for Fast Track, I am Matthew Seedorf.
The West Lafayette Parks and Recreation Department is beginning their 5 to 10-year master plan of improvement and want feedback from Purdue students.
Fast Track reporter Morgan Hange has the story.
The trails around West Lafayette are only the start to what the Parks and Recreation Department provide for the community. West Lafayette parks account for more than 450 acres, making up 13 parks. Their mission is to enhance the quality of life in the city by providing the best possible recreational facilities and programs for its citizens. One of the most popular areas is the Celery Bog.
We have 195 acres here at the Celery Bog Nature Area. 100 of it is the wetland, and we have an opportunity for people to enjoy nature in its natural setting here. They can walk the mulch trails, or they can ride their bikes or walk on the paved trails and just get out and experience what's here.
Another attraction of West Lafayette is Tapawingo Park, which offers a playground similar to the other parks around. Tapawingo also offers the only ice skating rink in the area, Riverside Skating Center. The Recreation Department offers a variety of activities at the Morton Community Center, including yoga, art class, pottery, and much more. The mayor's office is also now located in the Morton Center. The other parks include Happy Hollow and Cumberland Park. The department is beginning a master plan to survey the community on improvements they can make to parks and recreations.
Having a master plan, of course, with the 5 to 10 year projection on what we might be doing in the future, we want to look at where we are and where we could be in the future.
We hope that through the survey that we're doing, that more people let us know what kinds of facilities that they'd like to see.
With the annexation of Purdue into West Lafayette City Council, students have more representation in local government. Therefore, the Parks and Recreation Department encouraged Purdue students to complete their survey.
We want to be sure students have an opportunity to participate in the survey and let us know what it is that they need from their community park. So we hope lots of people participate. By the time we get done with it, we'll have a series of goals for the next 5 to 10 years for us to go to.
To find out more about the community survey, you can visit westlafayette.in.gov/parks. West Lafayette Parks and Recreation have provided their community survey to hear from Purdue students along with other West Lafayette residents on what they can improve in the upcoming years. With this survey, city officials hope to bring more interest to parks and recreation facilities. Reporting for Fast Track, Morgan Hange.
Last week, Fast Track reporter Liz Van Ostenburg reported on an event hosted by the Black Cultural Center in honor of Black History Month. To see an extended interview with Hollywood actor Tommy Ford and director of the BCC Renee Thomas, stay tuned for another edition of Fast Track's special interview series right after this.
Before we go, let's take one last look at the weather to see what we can expect this weekend. Matt?
Thanks, Christina. If you guys are looking to go out tonight, it's going to be a very, very warm night. It's going to be un-February. Temperatures are going to be 21 degrees above normal for this time of the year. Our forecast for tonight is partly cloudy skies and unseasonably warm temperatures with a low of 42 degrees. Winds will be out of the southwest between 12 and 16 miles per hour. On Saturday, we could see continued warm conditions throughout the area, very less windy than today. It will be partly sunny and warm with a high of 61 degrees. Winds will be out of the southwest between 13 and 18 miles per hour. So if you're traveling to the Purdue and Indiana game today, you should have clear conditions along the way the entire trip. Our forecast for tonight, when you get back from the Purdue-Indiana game, will be partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies with a low temperature of 38 degrees. Winds will shift to the north to 5 to 10 miles per hour. And on Sunday, it will be a little bit cooler, and there's also a slight chance of some showers and possibly a thunderstorm mixed in with those showers. We'll have a high temperature of 50 degrees with winds coming out of the north at 5 to 10 miles per hour. The chance of precipitation will be 30%. Back to you.
That's all we have for this week's edition of Fast Track. I'm Trevor Peters.
And I'm Christina Van Zelt. See you next week.
Winner of 8 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. Once features an impressive ensemble of actor-musicians who play their own instruments on stage. Once tells the enchanting tale of a Dublin street musician who's about to give up on his dream when a beautiful young woman takes a sudden interest in his moving love songs. April 21st at Elliott Hall of Music. Details at convocations.org. Presented by Purdue Convocations.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Choreographer Mark Morris is one of America's leading artists and storytellers, and Dido and Aeneas is one of his most captivating works. This extraordinary production brings Henry Purcell's famous Baroque opera to life with a live chamber orchestra and vocalists under Morris's baton, while the dancers reveal both the humor and the tragedy of the tale with Morris's signature visual flair. April 2nd at Elliott Hall of Music. Details at convocations.org. Presented by Purdue Convocations.
Welcome to this edition of Fast Track's special interview series. I'm Christina Van Zelt.
And I'm Trevor Peters. We're almost halfway through Black History Month, and in honor of that, reporter Liz Van Ostenburg visited the Black Cultural Center on campus during one of their events held in celebration for this nationwide celebrated month.
Last week, Liz was able to sit down with actor and director Tommy Ford, who visited Purdue's campus to screen his movie called Switching Lanes, a story about two young girls who forge a strong bond in spite of a strong racial tension in their community.
She was also able to talk to Renee Thomas, the director of the Black Cultural Center, who is committed to promoting a campus climate that ensures the inclusion of diverse students, faculty, and staff in all aspects of the university.
So for this week's interview series, we're interviewing Tommy Ford, who is an actor turned director for the movie Switching Lanes. So Tommy, what made you want to direct Switching Lanes?
You know, what made me want to direct this film is the story. The story is really rich and really wonderful. The producer, Shannon Nash, came to me with this idea. She says, I know how you love kids, right? I'm like, yeah. And this is wonderful, wonderful project. And not only is the project wonderful, but it's written by a young person. And she was just a teenager when she wrote it. I said, oh, she was? Said, yes. And it's a great story. And those are the things, usually people know that I have this great passion and love for young people, except for those at Purdue. And so all they have to do is say, young people, and they're just empowering, and I'm like, okay, let's hear it, I want to hear about it. And after reading the script, I learned then some of the other elements that were very attractive. When a project is attached to an organization like Ty Scott, who has been around longer than any other gospel music industry, it means they have a secret that a lot of folk don't have. And that secret I want to be a part of. I want to be a part of an organization that has, throughout the history, throughout the test of time, has proven to be successful. We're into the first week of Black History Month. So to be able to celebrate and be a part of pieces like this, I think are a great part of why I made that decision, because I love being a part of history, particularly African American history, and to be able to work with an organization like Ty Scott, which has been throughout history and our culture, has made amazing contribution. So to be a part of this with this film was one, to be able to work with icons like Ty Scott, to be able to work with young people doing a film about building and empowering and changing lives, and that's what was so attractive to me. I hope I answered your question. Yeah, you did. Good, because I wasn't going to say anything else.
Can you give me a little backstory about the movie Switching Lanes?
No. Next question. Switching Lanes. All right, you twisted my arm. Switching Lanes is a wonderful story. And it has a couple of different storylines to it, which is another thing that made it really wonderful to me. For me, it's a story of a set of twins who were kidnapped when they were babies and then disappeared. So we don't know what happened to these kids. So that's one story, a mom trying to find her babies. And then we go to another very interesting story about a segregated town where they have amazing young people who say, like, we don't even know why we're segregated. And that's what's so beautiful about young people today with social media and experiences and lives. They have the freedom to just look beyond the foolishness that those old folks started and to really see the beauty in one another. And I was attracted to that as well. The story about two girls who run track, right? And one is white and one is black. And they keep coming neck and neck and neck. And they go off to a retreat. And they learn that they grew up in the same town, but they learn how much they have in common and how beautiful they are and how they like the same music and how so many things are just so common between these two girls. And they decide, we're going to go back home and change the lives of the folk in our community. And that's what makes it so amazing.
So I was reading an article about the upcoming screening coming to Purdue University, and Renee Thomas, who is the director of the Black Cultural Center here at Purdue, was saying that this is an important movie for college students to watch. How does it feel that a college campus has invited you to watch the screening with them?
Usually people often ask me to come to college campus, usually because I'm so sexy. I'm silly, excuse me. What's amazing about being invited to come to a learning institution, particularly of higher learning, to be a part of a project that can help not only to entertain folk, but be a part of a project where great minds are going to look at it and dissect it and dialogue about it. I believe the true definition of entertainment is a project that when you walk away from it, you're still entertaining a thought, a concept, a philosophy, something to talk about, something that's going to affect and infect you. And that's what's exciting about being invited here. There's not just a entertainment piece to say, okay, we're done, so what are we going to eat tonight? Now it spawns meaningful dialogue. It gets people to talking and exercising some of these muscles in here about dialogue. We're in February. In January, I tell myself for many years the same lie, every single time. I'm gonna lose 40 pounds this year. I am. I promise I am. But there cannot be a resolution until there's a revolution. Something has to change. And to be a part of a movie, to be a part of a project that can help provoke change is very, very important to me.
And so how do you feel about the impact that this movie has made nationwide?
Well, I think two things. There have been many people who've seen this film. It's like, we love this piece. We want to see it more, and that makes it more challenging for us to make sure that that we can get an opportunity to broadcast this all over the world, so they can see this wonderful story and feel this wonderful concept again, so that we can continue to entertain these thoughts and philosophies about change and about empowerment. So I'm excited that I have folk excited about it, but I'm even more eager to make sure that the world sees it so that we all can share in this experience.
So what's next for you after this?
Well, I hear we're going to eat after this. That's what Ms. Thomas said.
That's true.
Oh, you mean after this, not after this.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
There's so many amazing things happening. I tell you, I have other films I've directed and produced that are out, and I'm currently really excited about a project I'm working on now. I enjoy, as I share with you, doing projects that empower. I'm working on a documentary right now about bullying and cyberbullying. And we're taking 15 young men from the ages of 15 and 25, and in 90 days, our job is to change their lives because they are bullies and they have been bullied. So we use many ways to empower them to see if it can change, almost like an experiment. We have psychotherapists and all kind of folk with exercises we're going to put them through, but the most important thing is the seed of greatness, that we want them to know how beautiful and amazing they are. So these are things that are important to me. And Switching Lanes is another form of that, through entertainment. And not only through acting, but because we mentioned Ty Scott's a gospel label, they have some amazing gospel artists who were using their music in the soundtrack. We also have some very famous singers in the movie, like Wes Morgan and Fred Hammond. So to be able to merge the music world and the acting world together to come up with a wonderful project like this is very exciting as well.
So what did you learn most from directing this movie?
What I learned most from directing, as an actor, which I spent most of my career doing, all I have to do is to know my lines and know what I want to do when I get to set and do a doggone good job and go on to the next project. As a director, from the beginning to the end, my job is never done. And I think what I learned more than anything is that it doesn't matter what kind of chaos or what kind of craziness happens, we still have to finish the film. So there are many times it's about running track, and every single time we went outside, put on a camera, and the rain started falling from the sky. I got to do a movie, Mother Nature. The movie has to be shot. So those are the most important scenes. This movie about kids running track. But I can't get on track in the wet. But we had to find a solution. And I think that's the key of life, is many times things come our direction, we have no clue what to expect, but life goes on. And we still have to keep going, and we still have to keep moving, and we still have a story to tell. We have lives to touch, regardless of what our challenges are. We still have a way. So everything that you start off with the script and everything in the script, we think, okay, we're gonna shoot everything there, but sometimes in the script of our lives, there are going to be some alterations, and there are going to be some cuts and recuts, and there are going to be some rewrites. But the idea is I still have to cross the finish line. I still got to get the job done. I think I learned that more than anything else, because there were things that were completely beyond my control, and that's not easy in life for me, not to have control of the things that I'm doing. So I think I learned more than anything that God is in control, and it doesn't matter what my plan is, as long as the overall goal is for this to be a blessing, and for this to be empowering, and for this to be wonderful. Even if it's not my plan, we still got to finish the job.
Is there anything that you'd like to add about Switching Lanes or what's coming up ahead in your future?
I hear the menu's going to be really, you don't ask a fat person if I think about food every time. Man, what are you talking about?
I'm thinking about the food.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us today, Tommy.
You're welcome so much.
Along with our interview with Tommy Ford, we decided to sit down with the director of the Black Cultural Center, Renee Thomas. Thanks so much for talking to us today. So what did you think about the screening of Switching Lanes?
I really enjoyed the movie. I thought that there was a positive message in the movie, and the audience members seemed to enjoy it. And I say that because of the laughter that I heard from our audience members, and then the discussion that we had after the movie. It was clear that it really resonated with everyone in the audience.
So prior to this, you said that this was an important movie for college students to watch. How do you think that this movie will impact around campus?
Well, the movie explored some very difficult subjects of race and racism. And we as a campus community, I don't feel that we feel comfortable talking about issues of race. So this was our way of introducing a difficult topic in a very non-confrontational way. And it provided the audience an opportunity to speak with ease about issues of race.
What was your favorite scene in the movie?
Oh my, there were so many. I think that my personal favorite was the church scenes in which they showed both the black girl singing Amazing Grace and the white girl singing Amazing Grace. One was in an predominantly African-American church and one was in a predominantly white church. And the style of music was very different. The way in which the audience responded was very different. And I think that was my favorite part of the movie, to see the difference in how a same song can be translated in different ways.
We live in a time where people feel uncomfortable talking about racial issues, but at the screening there was a diverse group of people there. What did you think of that?
Well, I was pleased with the turnout. We weren't sure, because it's a brand new movie and people weren't familiar with the movie, so we didn't know what to anticipate. But the fact that we had a multi-generational and a multiracial audience, I thought was very important. I noticed some youth in the audience who were probably 7, 10, 12 years old, and then we had a fair number of faculty and staff attended, and of course Purdue students, and it was a racially diverse audience. It was diverse in terms of age and gender, so I thought that it created what we all want, and the message that was in the movie too about the importance of developing unity in the community.
So what did you think of Tommy Ford?
Oh, he was wonderful, very engaging, very friendly, outgoing, and just a ball of energy. I enjoyed the time that he was here on campus.
Like you were saying before, how did you get Tommy Ford to come to campus?
We worked with Ty Scott Recording Studio down in Indianapolis, and they are the producers of this movie. And it's a brand new movie. It has not yet hit theaters or television yet. And they were seeking an opportunity to show it on a college campus because they knew that the content of the movie will resonate with college-age students. So I actually outreached to them, followed up on a phone call that I got from a Purdue employee that was familiar with this film, and lo and behold, we were able to secure the film, and then I get a follow-up phone call to say, hey, are you interested in the possibility of one of the actors coming? I said, of course, we would love that. And little did I know that that actor would actually be the producer and star in the movie, Mr. Tommy Ford. So we were really excited to have him.
You guys put on events all year round, but because it's February and it being Black History Month, are you doing anything special to celebrate it?
Well, as you said, we program from a culturally relevant perspective year-round, so we don't just relegate ourselves to Black History Month. However, Black History Month provides a unique opportunity to really elevate and highlight the important contributions of African Americans. Sometimes it can become routine for people, or they may ignore how that African Americans are part of the American story, and February provides an opportunity for us to really focus in and tune in on those contributions.
Do you see students coming to the Black Cultural Center more this month?
We get quite a bit of student traffic in on a regular basis. Students utilize the center for studying, research purposes. They use our computer lab, library. But this month in particular, behind me are a couple of the pieces of artwork. We actually opened a new exhibit here at the Black Cultural Center, and it just opened in February as part of our celebration of Black History Month. And we have already seen an increase in traffic here at the Black Cultural Center coming inside to see this particular exhibit.
So tell me about the exhibit.
Yeah, this exhibit is a fun exhibit. It's called Funky at 40, and it's celebrating 40 years of African Americans animation cartoons. And in the late 1970s was the first time that we began to see positive portrayals of African Americans, particularly through cartoons. So this exhibit highlights some of those many cartoons that folks who are as old as I am grew up with on Saturday mornings and really enjoyed.
This is so cool. Do you have any favorite cartoons in this exhibit?
I think my favorite is actually the Cosby Kids. That's something that I looked at every Saturday morning, that and Soul Train. Soul Train had a very long history and tradition, and we would get up on Saturday mornings and see the latest dances on Soul Train and try to emulate those dances in our house.
And what's next for the Black Cultural Center?
What's next for the BCC? We're going to continue to I feel like we're in a position here at Purdue where we're poised to do something spectacular on the university campus. And in a couple years, we'll be celebrating our 50th anniversary, so we're beginning to make inroads to develop that celebration. We're looking at engaging our alumni in much more meaningful ways. This fall, we'll be doing a major reunion activity as part of our homecoming celebration with the Black Voices of Inspiration Choir. And then we're also, as part of that 50th anniversary, really going to highlight our alumni and previous speakers that have come to the university community, sponsored by the Black Cultural Center.
What's something that you want Purdue University to know as a campus what the Black Cultural Center offers?
I would love for the campus community to know that the Black Cultural Center is open to the entire campus community to participate and be involved in our programs and activities. I also think that it's important, particularly for students, to see themselves as global citizens, and that they are going into a very diverse workforce, and in order for them to be equipped with the skills necessary to be successful, they need to have diverse experiences. The Black Cultural Center is a place in which they can begin to have that diverse experience and become culturally competent leaders of our world.
Well, that's all I have for you today, Renee. Thank you so much for putting on such an amazing event and for taking the time to talk to us.
Certainly.
That's all we have for this edition of Fast Track Special Interview Series. I'm Trevor Peters.
And I'm Christina Van Zus. Join us again next week for another interview with notable people of Purdue and the community. Have a great weekend.